Well, another day under this failed Labour government, as we have seen an 11-year-old girl along with a 34-year-old woman stabbed in Leicester Square. Whilst our police chase down British nationals who express their thoughts on social media, our country's capital falls. Now, London has been a cesspit for quite a while now, but it never seems to amaze me about the sheer amount of knife crime that goes on in the capital, and to be perfectly honest, it's been a lot worse under the stewardship of Sadiq Khan as mayor, but will continue to get worse under this Labour government. At this time, what we know about the incident is a man has been arrested after an 11-year-old girl and 34-year-old woman were stabbed in London's Leicester Square in front of shocked tourists. The Metropolitan Police said the two victims had been taken to hospital. The man is in custody, and he is thought to be the only suspect. The 11-year-old is said to require hospital treatment, but the injuries are not believed life-threatening, while the woman is understood to have suffered less severe injuries. At this early stage, the incident is not believed to be terrorism-related, the force said. A clip has surfaced on social media of the alleged attacker. Here it is. A security guard described how he jumped on and took a knife from a man who he said stabbed the child. He said his colleagues had administered first aid. The guard, who gave his name as Abdullah, 29, told the PA news agency, "I heard a scream. At that moment I saw there was one person, roughly in their mid-30s or early 30s, and he was like stabbing a kid. I jumped on him, held the hand in which he was carrying a knife and just put him down on the floor and just held him, and took the knife away from him. Then a couple of more people joined as well, and we just held him until the police came. It took maybe 3 to 4 minutes for the police to arrive, and then they just took him into custody." A police cordon has been put in place surrounding the double doors of the TWG tea shop on Leicester Square. The cordon is beside the Lego store and in front of the M&M store, and families and tourists are still standing in queues for each. At least 6 police officers are at the scene. Abdullah, who said he had worked in security at the TWG tea shop for the past 7 to 8 months, said his colleagues gave first aid to the child before the police joined in. "I just saw a kid getting stabbed, and I just tried to save her. It's my duty to just save them," he added. Ezat Katazis, a manger with tour bus company Toot Buses, said the attacker appeared to be mentally disturbed. He said, "It looked like he had something missing. He just stabbed the girl out of the blue. She was with her family. He said the girl appeared to have been stabbed near her right eye. The blood was pouring out of her face," he said. "She was European-looking, but I couldn't really tell because there was blood all over her face. They looked like tourists. She will survive." They picked her up and she stood on her feet. They took her inside the shop, TWGT, and the paramedic came. He added, "The knife was on the floor. It was only a small knife. There was a lot of blood. It was on the floor, on both her hands and on her legs." Katerzis added, "I think the guy was mentally disturbed. He is only a skinny guy. He didn't say anything when they arrested him and took him to the van. It was like he was on drugs or something. I don't think it was a robbery. He just started stabbing her for no reason." Joy Akan, who also works for Toot Buses, filmed the suspect on his phone after his arrest. The video showed a lightly built man in a black t-shirt with an Abbey Road logo on the front. He was wearing black tracksuit trousers. The video was time-stamped at 11:41 a.m. Akan said, "Suddenly I saw the police running. They had already arrested the guy when I filmed it. I didn't hear screaming because there's always screaming here. It's a very noisy spot." In a statement, the force said, "Officers are at the scene of a stabbing in Leicester Square. A man has been arrested and is in custody. We don't believe there are any outstanding suspects. 2 victims, an 11-year-old girl and a 34-year-old woman, have been taken to hospital, and we await an update on their condition." A London ambulance service spokesperson said an adult and child had been taken to a major trauma centre. In other news, more than 700 migrants arrived in the UK after crossing the Channel in 11 boats on Sunday, the highest since Labour came to power. Home Office data published on Monday shows 703 people were detected coming across yesterday, which is also the 3rd highest this year. 11 boats were detected, suggesting an average of 64 people per boat. On Sunday, 2 people died trying to cross the channel in a small boat. Their small boat was in French waters when they sent a distress signal to the regional Coast Guard centre. About 50 migrants were rescued from the boat by a helicopter and 2 boats, with many pulled out of the water with fuel burn injuries, the French maritime regional authorities said. Those rescued were returned to France, with an investigation into the 2 deaths being led by the country. The total number of arrivals to the UK in small boats in 2024 now stands at a provisional 18,342. That is 13% higher than at this point last year, when 16,170 had crossed. The highest on a single day this year was on 18th of June, when 882 people crossed, while the second highest was 701 on full May, both before the general election on 4th July. Prime Minister Kier Starmer has promised to smash the gangs by creating a new border security command to tackle people smuggling gangs bringing migrants across the channel. Officers will be granted new powers under the Counter-Terrorism Act to allow them to conduct stop and searches at the border, carry out financial investigations, and issue search and seizure warrants targeting organised immigration crime. Since coming into government, Kier has also announced 84 million of funding for African and Middle Eastern countries in an attempt to tackle the migration crisis at source. Kier said the money will go towards health and education initiatives, as well as humanitarian support to address the reasons people flee their homes in the first place. The Prime Minister's spokesman on Monday said summer is a challenging time for boat crossings and reiterated what Kier said before. We expect to see increases before we see improvements. It is vital that we work to smash the gangs who are responsible, he said. He said doing so is one of the government's first priorities. The UK public have no faith in him to tackle the migration problem. This, a video we showed earlier, of a boatload of illegal immigrants flexing the fact that they were on their way to England. Check it out. Whilst that is concern, he needs to tidy the streets of London up, along with his chum Sadiq Khan. Anyway, that does bring us to the end of today's video. Do let me know your thoughts on State of London and the stabbings that are ongoing. Also, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone that has supported the channel, and if you are new, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button for more content. Thank you, goodbye.